you guys, it is November now, and I think it's time for a little seedling tour and garden tour. We have so many seedlings right now. We're just busting out of the seams with them. But I'm so excited. There's so many pretty plants that will be blooming for the springtime. Hi, baby girl. Thanks for helping. Mwah. Okay, so we have a lot of like cut flower seedlings still. We have this beautiful Crispedia over here. It's kind of like a nice little grass, and it's kind of a tender perennial here. You can plant it, and it will survive the summer if you protect it. We like to plant like sunflowers around it, just to give it a little extra shade, but it makes a great dried flower. Same with these amobiums or winged everlastings. These are really pretty, and the status. This is an apricot status that does really well here. These are all cool season annuals, so we'll plant them in the fall and they'll bloom in the springtime. They love establishing over the winter. That's their best time to really get grounded. But these are some little Monardas. This is a annual bee balm. Oh, it smells amazing too. It's in the mint family, but they bloom so well, and they always remind me of the perennial version that I grew in Michigan. So I love growing them every year just because they're kind of nostalgic for me. We're growing tons of primroses too. I love growing primroses for spring blooms. We put them on our stair step bench and they are so pretty. Last year we grew apricots in pink, and we're growing those again, but we're also growing this really gorgeous champagne color. It's a double champagne one, and I am so excited to see that one bloom. But that's what all of these pots are filled with, are a mix of primroses, and then we have all of these ready to go for different projects and to sell for you guys. So we'll have those ready. We have them all separated into colors, and over here we have tons of other cut flowers like campanula. I love growing campanula. These are all the champion versions or varieties. They do really well here. And then we have foxgloves. We have the apricot foxgloves, we have the pink foxgloves, and we have the lavender foxgloves. So these are all of the annual versions. So we plant them now, they'll bloom in the spring, and then they'll be done. Most traditional foxgloves are biennials, so we always plant the annual ones because they won't survive our summers here, so we want them to bloom before the summer. We have a lot of kales that we're planting. This is a scarlet red kale. They'll get nice and dark, and I think they'll be really pretty to have these kales here for the fall and winter time. Provide a really nice winter interest. But tons of other cut flowers. We have scoop scabiosas. We have French vanilla. We have blackberries. So many really pretty scabiosas. Again, these are all cool season flowers that will bloom in the springtime. Great for Mother's Day flowers. That's why we grow a lot of the scoop scabiosas. And yesterday, we just bumped up all of these rudbeckias. They're really pretty. We have the Sahara one, and we have Irish Eyes, I believe, somewhere. But these are great tender perennials too. They'll do really well as cool season plants planted in the fall, and they love establishing in the wintertime. And they don't bloom typically for us until like June. So they're kind of a slower growing crop, but they're definitely worth planting in your garden just to have a really pretty June bloom. We have yarrow back here. We have a lot more in the back garden, but this is a terracotta yarrow. I've never grown this color before, but I've grown yarrow before. So I'm super excited to see this one bloom. What else do we have? We have some scented geraniums. This is a Lady Plymouth, really gorgeous variegated variety that we love using in containers just to have a really pretty foliage. We have tons of snapdragons. This is a dwarf variety called Tweeny Peach. Tweeny Peach. It kind of has like a chantilly vibe to it with that open-faced bloom. Just a really gorgeous blush color. So these are going to stay under like a foot. So these are going to be great for containers and borders in my garden and your clients' gardens. We have a lot of taller varieties like the apple blossom, the Potomac lavender. We have chantilly salmon and Madame Bronze here. Those make great cut flowers and great additions to any cottage garden. I'm going to show you guys the coleus that we have because they look so beautiful right now. We planted two different kinds this year. We planted the redhead and the, what is this, dipped in wine coleus. And they do really well here in like the fall and the spring months. So we'll probably take cuttings of these so that we can have them again in the spring and bring them inside. They don't love the cooler nights. Our winters kind of get down into the low 30s, not low 30s, like upper 30s and 40s. So they kind of get a little bit nipped by frost. So typically we'll replace all of these with some cyclamen because this doesn't get any direct sunlight in the winter time. This is on the north side of our house. It'll get sun in the summertime, but not in the winter time. We have lots of different other things like these beautiful lysianthus that were blooming earlier this summer. They're kind of just hanging out, and they'll go dormant all winter. We have a lot of these lysianthus pots that we love just having around. They always bloom the best like their second year, so we never like rip them out. We always just keep them and kind of tuck them away to have them for next year. We're planting all of these gorgeous cyclamen. I love cyclamen so much. They're so pretty, and I think their colors are just beautiful. Their leaves are gorgeous. The flowers are gorgeous. But we went for a really pretty spring pastel mix this year. So we have a lot of like fuchsias and pinks. This is a lilac color, but I love this light color one. This is a rose eye color, but it has this, rose center with the rosy fringe to it. I think that's really, really stunning. So we're gonna plant all of those underneath of our tree back here that we'll show you guys in just a little bit. But I'm super excited to plant all of these cyclamen. In the shade here, we have all of our ranunculus and anemone corms that we have been pre-sprouting. They're about 10 days in from when we soaked them and planted them, but these are all in 50 cell trays that we are going to be planting in our gardens. We're going to be planting them in our containers, our clients' gardens, and then we'll be selling the rest at our farmers markets. But there's so many pretty varieties. I'm so excited to see them bloom, but let me show you guys kind of what they look like right now. The ranunculus are always a little bit ahead of the anemones, but look at these sprouts. They're starting to make these little green shoots here. So you can see there's some popping up right here, but if you look underneath, they're popping out roots here. So this is a great time to start planting them when you start to see roots. You don't have to plant them in the cell trays. We just plant them in the cell trays because it's really convenient to sell the corms after they sprout this way. It's really nice and convenient. If I just need to grab like 10 of them, I'll grab 10 cells, I'll cut the tray up and do it that way. Right in the ground, just make sure you don't overwater them. They are very prone to rot, so don't give them too much water until you see green shoots at the top. Back here we have all of our paper whites that we've been planting. We typically plant them every couple weeks in the winter time. I love having paper whites in the garden in the winter just because they add so much height to the garden. I feel like everything in the winter is so short that the paper whites really do help add a little bit of height and mixed into the garden. And I love the smell. Some people don't like the smell of them, but I personally love the smell. So I'll put them in little pots that I'll bring inside if I feel so called to do so. So anyways, these are all the paper whites and ranunculus. Oh, and the amaryllis. We're starting to plant all of our amaryllis bulbs for Christmas time. We'll be getting some in that we'll be planting just for the winter time too. So I'll show you guys the rest of the garden back here and what it looks like. This is our seedling tray. It's always our seedling bump up table. It's always kind of a mess, but that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be dirty. It's supposed to be filled with plugs, but we're bumping this flower right now. I've never grown it before, but it's called Cinar, C-I-N-E-R. And it's supposed to be a really pretty like pastel flower for the springtime. Absolutely gorgeous. This will only get about 5 to 6 inches tall, so they're going to be great for our stair-step planter when we have all the beautiful blooms. So, and these don't like full sun. I've read somewhere that they like just a little bit of morning sun, so I think we're going to put them back where the coleus are. So in the main garden, we have a lot of things that we're kind of prepping for the next season. So right now we're potting up a lot of beautiful cabbages, the purple and the white. I think these are going to be really cute just to have tucked in. These were all kind of planted at a little angle, as you can see, just so that we can view the top part in the garden. We always plant them at an angle so we can see the nice centers facing us. So we have the purple, we have the white. We have two different types of white. One's a more of like a roughly roughly leaf one, and one's more of like a flat leaf one. So we'll see which one I like better. I'm kind of like experimenting with a couple different kinds of varieties, but we have some succulents that we'll have up on the bench later on, but we always love tucking in succulents. I think they add such a beautiful texture and dimension, and they do really well for us in the winter time. We have some heliotrope back here. These smell amazing. I love heliotrope in the way that they smell. So we have a couple of these pots that we'll be tucking in. They'll make these really pretty purple blooms that kind of look like pentas a little bit, but they smell so much better. We have some pentas here that we'll be flipping, but all of the other pots are filled with celotias, and look how stunning this is. This is a dragon's breath celotia. Really pretty metallic um, color to it, but all of these were planted back in July from tiny itty bitty seedlings. They were so pretty, and I think they just look so pretty now. They really have started to take shape after the nights have gotten longer than the days. I feel like this flower is just triggered to bloom from the longer nights that we have here. So it's so pretty. I just love it. You know exactly why it's called dragon's breath, because it literally looks like it's on fire. And I'll show you guys the rest of the garden fit in it. We have 6 pots right here, and it mixes in so beautifully with everything else. I'm just in love with it. We have the intense purple celotias up top, and this is a really just gorgeous like wheat style celotia. And it's a sterile variety, so it's not going to shed seeds, which is nice if you use it as like a cut flower, but it's really just a pretty flower to have in the garden. And we kind of got a berry theme going on with the purples and the reds and the blues here, purple. This is a Angelonia. I think it's like steel blue, if you will, but it is now just starting to kind of fizzle out. It looks okay. It looked a lot better a couple weeks ago when it was warmer, but it still is a really pretty addition. We have some purple fallon grasses down here. We have a couple of these. We have some marigolds. This one's called Durango Bee. It starts off with this really vibrant color and kind of fades to this more of like a honey color. It's really gorgeous. And as a filler foliage plant, we have a lot of this Alternifera here. Just a really, really pretty foliage. It makes a great cut flower too, or cut foliage. It usually takes a little while for the stems to get tall enough, but look, you can see this would be a really great cut to use. And at the bottom of the garden, we have these gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous coxcombs. This one's called Brainiac Raven Red. And these have been so fun to have in the border of our garden, but also on the stair step bench. I'll show you guys the stair step bench. We have a couple of these in the garden, but they are so beautiful. And I just love having them on here. All the plants are typically under 6 inches on the stair step bench just to give it a really pretty layered effect. But we have, like I mentioned, the coxcomb, the red Brainiac Raven Red coxcombs. We have Calibrachoa. We have a orange and a blue Calibrachoa that add a really pretty fall color to the stair steppers. And then we have the peppers. This is an orange pepper. They start off purple and then they turn orange. But I love how the peppers, the orange and the purple peppers, mimic the Calibrachoa and just tie everything in together. Super stunning, super cute. And I think it's so fall and I love using it. So I'll show you guys the rest of the container garden. We have a lot of other cool flowers like these coxcombs. This one's a twisted orange coxcomb. It's actually a branching coxcomb. And it gets a really, I like this height in the garden here that it gives. In contrast to everything else, it adds a really nice layer to the garden. And just we have a repeating of everything else. We have more Angelonias, more of the Alternifera, more of the marigolds, just really stunning. Oh, in the back, we have these mahogany splendors hibiscus. If you guys have noticed, they're actually in the cotton family. They're a mallow, but they always remind me of Japanese maples with the leaves and the color of them. They're super fun and cute, and they're actually going to start to, I don't know if you can see, there's buds on here, so it's going to start blooming soon. They make these really fun, like blood red flowers that kind of resemble like a mallow, like a hollyhock, if you will, but they'll be really pretty for that. So they make a great cut foliage as well here. This is the other stair step bench that we have. 2 dragon's breaths celotias are flanking this one. I think they're just so stunning. They definitely make a beautiful statement here. And then a repeat of the Calibrachoa, the coxcombs, and the ornamental peppers. Then on the last bench, we have just a bench full of peppers. We had a ton of them this year, so we just decided to fill an entire bench full of these peppers. They're cute. I really do like them. I think I like the mixed the mixed look better. But I think this is just so fun to have a bench just full of one thing. Um, that last year with the primroses, and I absolutely loved it. So, anyways, we're going to show you guys our project that we're going to be working on this morning. We have a ton of empty pots back here. We've been overseeding our lawn, but we have pots back here that we'll be filling up with cyclamen. All those pretty cyclamen that I showed you guys, we'll be filling up these pots full of them. They're all hooked on automatic irrigation here, so it'll be really easy to water these. So we're gonna start prepping these pots and getting ready to plant them for you guys, and we'll show you all the steps that we do. Have all of the beautiful cyclamen, and we're gonna put them over towards our container. We're gonna just do a really nice mix today with all of them. I think that's gonna be a really pretty color palette. It's a beautiful day too. It's the high today is only 70, and it's like chilly. It is chilly, you guys. It's finally cold here in Arizona. So we're gonna grab the rest of them here. We just finished potting up all of these cyclamen pots, and they look so good. I'm so happy with all of them and how they turned out. Everything is hooked on. I'll show you guys this drip tubing. It's just a 1/4-inch drip tubing with spacers every 6 inches, and it's going to emit water for these plants. We do want to make sure that they're not getting overwatered. That's the one detriment to cyclamen, is just overwatering in the wintertime. So we're going to make sure that they dry out in between watering. So we're only going to water them when they need it. So probably every 3 or 4 days for right now. We're going to give it a good soak right now, and then we're going to monitor it. But they should be blooming so well in no time. I mean, they look great right now, but once they fill in, they're going to look so pretty. So anyways, thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll definitely keep you updated on how everything looks and fills in. We have so many fun planting projects, and I will definitely keep you guys updated, and I'll see you in the next video.